Hey all, I'm your host Michael and welcome back to Awful Stories. As always, if you enjoy, make sure to leave the video a like and consider subscribing if you're new. With that said, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Chemistry Visible in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "My sister is sleeping with a married man and I got beaten because of her. I have no idea where my idiot sister is because she went on vacation with her friends. All I know is that I'm going to pull her hair out when I see her. My sister and I go to the same university. Although we are only 3 years apart, we look almost identical, and people always confuse us for twins. Today, I suffered because of that resemblance. As soon as I left my university to go to my car, a woman threw herself at me and started dragging me by the hair while yelling all sorts of things and insults at me. By pure instinct, I began to fight back. Honestly, at that moment, I thought some homeless person was having an episode or something. I pulled her by the hair until my friends separated her from me. The woman was crying, and behind her were 2 other women who were with her and arguing with my friends. The woman was yelling at me that I was her husband's skank, and I didn't understand anything about what was happening. But at that moment, something clicked in my mind because I know that my sister is dating an older man. She doesn't tell me much about him, but she shows me the gifts he gives her. I told the woman that she was looking for my sister. The people who were with her basically yelled at me that I must be just as skanky as my sister. I'm not, I think, and tried to fight again, but the police approached us and it all became too messy. Now my scalp is full of scratches, my back is scraped from the asphalt, and my hair hurts too much. My sister isn't answering my calls to explain what the hell she did before I tell my mother what happened. I know that if I tell my parents about this, they might even stop paying for my sister's education, because it's not the first time she has done something like this. Am I going to tell them? Yes, but first I need to talk with my sister. The humiliation of having been beaten up at my university for something I didn't do is too much. It gives me chills to think about going back on Monday and that the people who saw us might believe that I am to blame when my sister was the culprit. I do feel empathy for that woman, but I didn't deserve that beating. My sister is not a good person at all, so it's easy to see her in a situation like this. At the very least, she should have asked my name before attacking me. Edit, yes, we ended up at the police station and I filed charges against her, even though she apologized to me a lot once she calmed down a bit. To be honest, her friends were worse than she was in the sense that they wanted to keep fighting even after it was all over, but that doesn't justify the fact that she attacked the wrong person. For now, I'm just going to wait for my sister to come back because I want to say everything with her present so that she can't avoid our parents. It's not the first time my sister has been involved with a married man. Update. Hi, my sister came back from her vacation a few days ago. I waited for her to come back because I didn't want her to avoid telling our parents what happened, and I wanted her to be the one to tell them everything. My sister lives with our parents. No, she's not a teenager, she's almost 30. I don't know why someone in the comments said that she was being groomed when she's 28. There are even people over 40 in college, and you need to be an adult to be there anyway. So when she arrived, I was already there. When my parents asked me what the hell happened to me, I told them to wait for my sister to arrive so we could talk about it. So they already knew that this was about her. Many people don't understand that there are people who like being the other person and enjoy the feeling that they can sleep with anyone, even someone forbidden, and my sister is that type of person. Since she was a teenager, she has flirted with her friends' boyfriends. She did it to measure her value against others, but she never flirted with any of my boyfriends. At least she has her limits. Now that she is older, she likes to sleep with married men. For her, it is better to receive gifts and have fun without the pressure of being the wife, her words. We've discussed this many times. At the end of the day, it's all a self-esteem and ego problem that my sister has. She needs to know that she can get whatever she wants. Anyway, a few days ago, the man she was involved with sent her a message telling her that his wife had beaten him and kicked him out of the house after she found out about his affair with my sister. The woman found my sister's Instagram and sent her messages telling her to stay away from her family because apparently the man had taken their kids on some of the dates with my sister. My sister, who is a complete idiot, continued the argument with the woman, insulting her. She showed me the chat, and she was clearly encouraging the woman to fight, calling her her names, etc., and that's how I ended up getting beaten. According to my sister, she didn't believe that the woman was actually going to hit her, but then I started messaging her and she basically ignored me because she didn't want that kind of stress and also because she knew she had screwed up. Honestly, so many comments told me that my sister was not to blame for anything that I began to believe it, until I saw the messages she sent to that woman, almost begging for a beating. I stopped feeling any kind of empathy for her. She's not a good person and never was. I was furious, but my mother was even angrier. It is not the first time that my family has been affected by her sexual adventures. This time, we did not lose money or friends, but I was physically attacked, which is worse. My sister justified herself by saying that she is single and has no responsibility for any marriage, but my mother told her that we all suffer because of her problematic behavior, and that morally she is helping to ruin many lives because of her ego. It all ended with my sister throwing a tantrum, as always, and even blaming me for looking like her. This time, my father kicked her out of the house with her things. I found it a little sad that my own parents apologized to me for their adult daughter's behavior. At the end of the day, I feel sad seeing my parents and others affected because of her behavior. And about the woman, she contacted me the day after I was beaten and was very sorry. She said she would pay for any medical expenses, but I'm fine. She sounded much calmer without her friends and told me that she had never done anything like that before, but she felt a very strong hatred toward my sister and her ex because of how they talked about her in front of the children. Although she sounded really regretful, a large part of me wanted her to kick my sister's butt, but that's not going to happen. Even if that doesn't make me a good person, I would have liked to see it. I am sorry for the boring update, but not much happened beyond that. She didn't send me a message or anything like that. Anyway, I just hope my parents still don't talk to her so I can see her as little as possible. Final update. Hi, I remembered this account and was about to delete it, but I keep getting messages about my posts. So before I do, I'm going to give one last short and boring update about what happened this year. Basically, my sister is pregnant, she has a new boyfriend, do the math, so she started talking to my parents again. They hadn't spoken to her for a few months until the pregnancy news, and she knew very well that our parents wouldn't leave her alone during that time. I hope she changes with time and that motherhood helps her improve, although I doubt it since she's treating our mother like a free maid. My mother now has to wash her clothes by hand and cook 24/7 for my sister, who can't lift a finger. Our parents are older and have their own physical problems, but she doesn't understand that. I don't judge my parents, they're worried about the baby, and my sister is really good at manipulating people, especially them. My parents spent months distancing themselves from her, and now she has found the best method to make them feel sorry for her: a baby. They know that she is not responsible. Her boyfriend is a normal guy, but he doesn't even have his own place. And right now, they live with his parents, which worries my parents. I've heard that the boyfriend's mother has been telling them she wants them to move out. I'm not going to distance myself from my parents, whom I love, but all family gatherings with the two of them will be at my house from now on. I definitely prefer to avoid the surprise visits she makes to their house. I think people with a troubled sibling but a loving family will understand this dilemma. I've become casual friends with the woman who hit me. I'm sorry, but I'm not inclined to condemn a woman for hitting her idiot husband and his mistress, even though she hit me. I am not sorry to disappoint the commenters who wanted to see that woman imprisoned, because if a man does it, he would go to prison. She's really kind and actually spent weeks apologizing to me. She also got her friends to apologize to me, and I forgive her. I'm not going to hate her for being human, but I made her pay for the damage to my hair, and I pressed charges anyway. Actions have consequences for everyone. I feel like a lot of people in the comments live in a strange fantasy and give their opinions as if they don't know how the real world works. Many also projected their own traumas, and I received messages calling me a bad sister, which doesn't bother me because maybe I am. I'm tired of trying to help a narcissist. I've received messages like, "She's a bad person, you should report her and have her imprisoned." Guys, that doesn't happen in the real world over a street fight. There are men who kill their families and the police do nothing. We're not close friends, but we've met up a few times. She hasn't divorced because of a lack of money, but she's not with that man and they don't live together. She's really kind, and to be honest, now that I know her, I'm going to continue justifying her reaction to hitting that man. He recorded stuff for my sister with his kids in the same room. I've heard the explicit audio messages he sent her with the kids' voices in the background. Screw him. I would have hit him worse. I don't know how much these recordings will help in the divorce, but I hope they are useful to her. Exposing minors to this type of content should be punishable by jail, but the world is not fair. That woman's only mistake was hitting me and not my sister, but that's a frustration I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. Her children love her, and I know that she's a good person. Honestly, I would have reacted in a worse way, which doesn't mean it's ideal, but losing your temper is sometimes part of being human. I'd like to see my sister get what's coming to her someday, but the world isn't a fair place, and she always comes out on top in the end. What a depressing and messy update, but honestly, I just wanted to vent because yesterday I saw my sister treat my mother badly under the excuse of pregnancy hormones. The only thing that relieves me is knowing that my parents support me in my decision to meet at my home or outside from now on. Anyway, I hope someone hits her one day. I remember that many people wondered what problem my sister caused in my family that cost us money. My father worked as a security guard in a house and earned good money until my sister, in her 20s, had an affair with my father's boss, a young guy who lived with his girlfriend. The girlfriend found out, and my father was fired because of it at her request. My father lost his job at a difficult time in our country. The earlier half of this story was pretty good. Everyone who did wrong got what they deserved, but when the sister came back and got her parents' pity, it made me feel some type of way. I'm sure the feelings are different when you're actually in the thick of the situation, but using her pregnancy as leverage felt wrong after she got kicked out. It's made even worse by the fact that the mother is taking care of her despite having her own health issues. I share the same sentiment as the OP and agree that people like this sometimes need a harsh wake-up call and to be forced to stand on their own 2 feet.